I don't know if anyone needs a few minutes or should we just go right to the business meeting? What's that? Straight to the business meeting? Okay. So it is 8:16 and I call the December 2023 CEC 20 business meeting to order. Thank you everyone for joining us. I will now take a roll call attendance for the business meeting.
Steve, I can do on a local.
Go for it, Joyce. Sorry.
It's fine. Thank you for your help. Yeah, we're gonna take December's business meeting. Steve, so
Here.
John. I cannot hear John say. It's fine. I know he's there. Elizabeth.
Here.
Joyce here. Mei Fang. Mei Fang say yes, right?
She's here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wenmin excuse. Yanqing.
Yeah.
Maya.
Yes.
Okay. Tamara.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Here.
Thank you. And Steve, you can take over.
Thank you, Joyce. We will have interpretation for the business meeting in Arabic, Mandarin, and Spanish. You should see their names of the interpreters in the chat, and you should see their video screens. If anyone would like to dial into the interpretation lines, the interpreters will now give instructions on how to do so. Could our Arabic interpreter please introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening. This is the instructions for joining the Arabic line. أهلا مساء الخير. لو تحبوا تستمعوا للترجمة باللغة العربية لو سمحتوا عليكم الاتصال من الهاتف برقم التليفون 347-966-4114 وبعديها ادخلوا الرقم الآتي. الرمز هو 803-538-52-8 وبعدين علامة الشباك. تقدروا تتفرجوا أو تشوفوا من خلال الزوم ولكن تستمعوا للترجمة باللغة العربية من خلال التليفون وتقدروا توطي صوت الزوم خالص بحيث الاستماع للغة العربية فقط. شكرا وأهلا بكم.
Thank you. Could our Mandarin interpreter please introduce yourself?
Hi， 大家好，我是Mandarin 中文翻译。那如果你有需要中文翻译的，你可以打到347-966-4114这个电话线，之后打他的 ID 号523-132-655加一个井号键。那我们会由中文翻译人员帮你把你的问题做翻译，然后进行提问。谢谢 ，Thank you.
Thank you. And can our Spanish interpreter please introduce yourself? Spanish interpreter, can you hear me? And are you able to make your announcement?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
No problem.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Katy Hugueto, intérprete en el idioma de español. Para todo aquel presente que necesite interpretación en el idioma de español, por favor marcar el número 1-347-966-4114, número de contraseña 332-999-898 con el signo de numeral. Thank you.
Thank you. So for our business meeting tonight, we will just have approval of the November business meeting minutes. And then for new business, discussion of CEC committees. So Kevin, can you share the minutes from last month's business meeting? Any changes to the minutes from last month? Okay, the minutes are approved. CEC committees, Tamara, did you want to open a discussion on that?
Yes. People that actually wanted to answer for committee.
Sorry.
You're good.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me? All right. I actually wanted to chair the special education committee because that's been a big issue in District 20 for like years. And we need to, as a council, we need to better inform our parents about everything that's going on when it comes to special education.
I can't really hear you. So maybe? Yeah.
Should I use the mic?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just talk about, am I loud? Okay.
Better.
Okay, so I would like to chair the Special Education Committee because as we can see from the number of parents that have been to our meetings since we started this year, that has been a big issue. So I want to start setting up meetings with our community. Anybody that's interested in being part of this committee, any of our parents or families out there that would be interested in being a part of this, please, so we can make sure that children with special needs get the help that they need and the families are informed about what their rights are and what they can do to better help their children. That's one of the committees that I want to share. So am I supposed to open it for discussion?
Anyone want to, I mean,
Johnson is interested.
yeah, so Tamara, president appoints committee chairs
Oh, okay.
per the bylaws.
So both myself and John are interested in doing those with that committee.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm interested.
okay. And you guys would be, what would the proposal be? It would be, yeah, I mean, committees are committees and they do their thing. Yeah.
Well, that would be just talking about how our parents could like IEP process. That seems to be an issue for a lot of parents.
Mhm.
You know, especially because we do have, you know, the kindergarten's application project is open. So one of the things we should probably, you know, look into is maybe how to do the IEP process for incoming in one families.
Mhm.
And then maybe see if we can figure out a way to help pre-K parents and for like the early intervention for a lot of parents. A lot of people don't know where to go or to access the information unless you know somebody. 'Cause
Right.
As a parent with a child with an IEP, I do know how hard it was to just set up that whole process from even like for pre-K and so forth. And if I did not have the people that I found in my life to help guide me through it,
Sure.
I won't be able to fight for the rights that my kid needed for the services that they was bring. And my child's in this. And it's a constant daily struggle every year for services.
Yeah, I agree. It's a super important topic. I'll come back to you guys on, I mean, let's talk more maybe offline, about, you know, the structure of it, who will chair it.
I got questions. So, we're gonna create another, like you say, community.
Someone saying something?
So, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Joyce, are you speaking?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now I can, yep.
Okay, so, your discussion about create another like community about the community, right? So parents can reach out those people, but the problem is mostly like per school they will reach out their what PTA or if the parent have concern, even on the like kindergarten application or pre-K application, mostly parents will reach out their school, and for the special education, the people will reach on the people who will know, because some exactly even in our, because my kids doesn't have special education programs, so I'm not knowing about those programs, but I think it would prefer parent will reach out the person they were more knowledgeable. So because I'm in one kind of special education group, yes, parent is very knowledgeable. It's city wise. It's not by district, because I see they helping each other per parent and not by district. And I will see there a lot of challenging from the parent, but those parent is empowered. They from unknown to knowing, they experience that. So I think like because like you say it's like for reach on the parent can reach on the community. So I think that's what we're doing right now. So what we gonna create another commit, like you said, community to the community. So I don't get it. Because my parent can reach out us too. So I don't get it why we create another like position. So it don't mean like when we create another position, we don't need a district 20 like council anymore. Because kind of it's doing like the same thing. If parent want to reach something, they will find a way to reach.
Oh, can I speak now?
Go for it,
Okay,
yeah.
I've been a District 20 parent. This is my district. As a parent, I have reached out to people outside my district in order to get the help that I need.
Is it echo?
Is it echo?
I just muted my laptop. Maybe that'll help.
Every CEC, every district CEC has these committees. There's L committee, there's a committee for English language learners, there's a special education committee. Okay, this is as a district, we want to be able to give our families in this district by inviting people to help us teach parents how to get the resource they need so we can help them in our district. Okay, because not everybody knows somebody or knows where to go to get these resources. They really don't. Not everybody knows about the Citywide Council for Special Education. That's the whole point of having district people that's part of citywide people. All right, is that like I would go, both me and John, if we do become the chairs, we will both go to these citywide councils to advocate for all of our parents in this district. All right, so we can make sure that we get the services for our children here, because there's 32 districts. Okay, we are trying to focus on our parents, and that has been a concern for all of our parents from D75, special education, all of it. It's been a concern in this district that our children have not been getting the mandated services that they are legally supposed to get. You saying that how they could reach out to this person and they could reach out to that person, that does not necessarily mean that the people that they reach out to might have the time to get back to them. But what we're saying is, as part of this council, we are going to make it our priority to make sure that we reach out to our parents and help advocate for their needs, for their children, and for their families. That's our priority, because we got to make sure that we're taking care of our families first when it comes to our district.
Yeah, I think it's Kevin, go ahead. You got your hand up.
I'm just wondering, does it mean the school is do not get enough resources to to perform their job? Because actually my kid is in the special education. We do get the information from school, but I understand that some parents, especially including the Chinese speaking, the parents do not speak English, they might have troubles. But my question actually is, does it mean that the school didn't get enough support right now, like a funding or the resources to distribute these informations? Because they are more closer to students and parents. So I'm just wondering, can we supplement them or helping them to do the job instead that we go out to do the job?
Okay, as a parent that has had to fight for the right for my kid to get the services that they needed, does not necessarily mean that I got those services specifically from my school. Sometimes your school does not have the resources because of budget cuts. And we already know that there's been a shortage of special education teachers, just OT, PT, speech, all of that. We already know that. And what happens is if you can't get the resources in your school, you have to find it outside of your school. Or sometimes you have to take your child to somewhere else. Okay, what we're trying to say is a lot of parents sometimes might not have the resources to go to those places all the time to, because they might be working a job. So they would depend on their school to give their child the resources that they need. But if their schools don't have it in their budget because they can't find these people, then they got to find it somewhere else. And some people have to go somewhere else. So what we're saying is we're trying to get all the necessary information for those parents that can't get it in their schools. We want to make it a place. That's what the CEC is for. We're supposed to help every parent of every child in this district from K to 8, okay? And we want to make sure that we give them the information, because a lot of parents do not know what their rights are. And a lot of schools do not notify their parents of what their rights are, because you know why? Because some of them, they don't have the resources to help them. All right. And instead of saying that, everybody tries to find a way around it. All right. But we have to make sure that our kids are getting the services, to make sure that they're getting the education that they need to become productive adults in society. Because at the end of the day, our kids have to be able to take care of themselves, right? They have to be able to get a job. They have to be able, if they choose to, marry, have kids, and so forth. But you want to make sure that your kid is set up in a way where their life is set for them, okay? However they decide to set that up for them. But we need to make sure that our parents are well informed. That way they could fight for the right for these services. Because what happens, and I've spoken to many parents, and I've helped many parents as well. And I've pointed them to the resources. And these are parents that are in this district, and these are parents that are in other districts, all right? And I don't have to do that, but I choose to, because you know what? Because I know how it feels to not have somebody in your corner when you need them, to not know where you have to go to actually have to go out and find these people and build your resources and build your team, so you could have a group of people that are always there to help you in case you get to a point in your services or in your kids' education where you do not know where to go.
So let's make it more direct. The situation, the issue you're talking about is there are schools, because they don't have enough resources, they don't tell the parents what's their right, what service their kids supposed to get. And that's what we are trying to help those parents with.
We want to help every parent, because if they're well informed, then they could fight for the rights.
Yeah,
for their
yeah, I mean, but in
yeah,
this particular case,
yeah,
what you're talking about is that.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Like I say, each case, each child has issues with different things. Some children have speech issues. They don't have a speech therapist inside the school. They have to go outside. They might have to use their own insurance. What we're trying to do is work together and try to get people on board, children, just like we did the resolution 3 and 4 for District 75 school and ASD Nest, right? So they're gonna open up a school with numerous seats for District 75, but it's not gonna be for people like 10 to 1 to 1 or 8 to 1 to 1. It's just gonna be 12 to 1 to 1. It depends on how that's working out for us. We're not gonna be able to get the criteria of the kids that need help. They're still gonna be bussed out of our district, because all they're gonna do is give a class for 12 to 1 to 1 when we're short in each route of 8 to 1 to 1, 4 to 1 to 1, and that's a problem too. You know, our resolution was for that. Our resolution was for ASD Nest program, and we worked out. We all came together and we did what we had to do on the resolutions. And now it's just going to a committee. It'll be easier for us to help them, you know, the people that need help, and that's what we want to do.
I don't even know why it's like we're trying to sell something that should be just common knowledge and should be just something that's acceptable for everybody. Like, this is what I do every day. The fact that I'm fighting to be a part of this committee when I have to fight for the rights for my child is really ridiculous right now, you guys. It really is. It is.
What, can you explain? What did you just say? You're fighting for the right to be.
Okay. Anyone else want to discuss? And when are we gonna get our District 75 revenue for that?
Steve is sitting there. It's still in process. Yeah, still in process. It's taken a while, but
So will that help with the special
he'd be a great resource.
IEP? Right?
It's just taken a long time.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Anyone else want to chat about this? Good. Okay, we'll definitely follow up. I plan to, think more about this and follow up with some of the members, and hopefully we'll get something going, because I think it's a great idea. Is there anything else for the business meeting? Topics, anything, open issues?
I brought up about possibly also, because we all know that the CSA projects and the RESO stuff is coming up for a number of our schools. And we all know that there's the application process for that. Now, I actually asked if us having a CSA committee, so those people could focus on making sure we get the information from the schools that we needed in one place. Is that something that, you guys are interested in? Because instead of just having, everybody bring in their stuff, we could just have it just a collective. That way, when it comes to choosing the proposals that we have to pick in January, we can have like more a comprehensive list of like who's gonna be part of the list. Because there's a number of schools that have continuously had like construction done. They're on their third time doing construction, they're on their fourth time doing construction. And I just think that the schools that really need it the most should be bumped up to the list, because.
But I don't think that's our call. I think they choose, right? The principal themselves apply for the stuff, and then the SCA, I guess, they choose which projects go forward. I mean, that's what's happening.
I'll comment a little bit on it. We, at the annual ranking meeting, that does come into play tomorrow. We've often looked at schools about before, and we'll sort of try and rank schools that haven't got projects done, at least in the years I've been doing it. And it's a very imperfect
But
science.
we don't rank them, do we?
We rank.
Oh, we rank
We
them.
rank.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we
I
rank
just
them.
wanted to,
Thank
I
you.
felt like.
Yeah, we rank them. Yeah, and I was sort of thinking about talking more about the SCA process next Monday when we hear from Steve Gonzalez, but we can definitely chat about it here.
I mean, because Mara has a good idea about the ranking. I
We
think you
rank 'em.
did it.
We
Okay.
rank them, yeah, we rank them. And there's a lot of discussion that goes on about it, like, leading up to the meeting in January. The January meeting is when we vote on it and approve it. And then, the process now, Kevin has set up a Google form, which has gone out to all the principals. And after next week's meeting, when all of you will have a chance to hear from the SCA on how it works, I'm going to encourage everyone to reach out to their schools individually, just as follow-up. Try to get the recommendations, and principals generally want to submit recommendations. It's in their interest too. It's just a matter of sometimes needing a nudge or a reminder about it. And I've got there's the SCA process, and then there's a second process that I've emailed you guys about earlier, the Resolution A process. This is another way schools can request capital project funding. Coming from the borough president or from local elected officials. If there's a way to, I'm always open to ways to streamline the process, make it efficient. And, number one is I just want to hear that people understand the process, the basics of it. And I guess that's kind of number one. And then if, Tamara's suggesting a committee, a separate committee, I think there's the way we've always done it before is the whole group comes together and ranks it in the January meeting. And there's sort of talk, there's recommendations leading up to that. Everyone can kind of make the case for which schools should be ranked where. So that's how we've done it in the past, which usually works pretty well. Tamara, any more thoughts on any, because, yeah, you haven't officially gone through this process as a CEC member yet.
No, but I've gone through the CSA process of the PTA.
Sure. But any comments on the process? Because that was what you were proposing, right? Was doing it with a committee, a CEC committee?
Yeah, you know what I mean, that way you guys, you could give us an idea of like what you recommend as how we do the ranking, like Steve said, you know what I mean? Because like we all have our schools that needs the funding, and we all gonna have our preference. But like it should be on like, you know, on a case by case basis, because like I said, there's some schools that have had constructions like 3 different times for, you know, multiple issues, you know, and for like a school that hasn't had a construction in 10 years over a school that has had construction 3 years ago, I think the one that hasn't had construction in 10 years should at least be given top priority, depending on how, like the need of that construction. You know what I mean? Whether it's really important, like whether it's electrical, architectural, like kind of like that.
Didn't we have an issue last year when the kids had to apply themselves, and then the day of the meeting, some of the principals didn't email, so then we have that issue.
There's always last minute.
They could always do that, like somebody from the committee could always make sure and check with the principal that she's right, because it's been done. Like, and keep checking the.
They hadn't wait for the meeting.
I know, but many principals didn't know that they did that, you know, and like, and we got an email from a borough president, liaison, there's also borough president, admission, there's resume as well that they could apply for. So there's multiple ways that we want to make sure that they at least try to give this information to their schools if their schools really need it.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, it's all good stuff. I don't know if we need, I mean, Tamara, like, I don't know if we need a committee to do it, where our Cs, you know, we all talk and communicate and we can all, but I guess an SCA, in an SCA committee, it would be for 1 month. It would essentially be someone who wants to coordinate following up with the principals.
That's why I asked about it.
Yeah.
I already reached out to my
hit up
liaison
your
schools,
liaison,
so
yeah.
I mean, everybody should do the same thing as well, and, you know, let them know.
And I'll, you know, in the past, I've sort of played that role a little bit, just reminding people. We got a lot of project requests last year. I think we highest in like 3 years of doing it. We got like 40-something project requests. So, yeah, it worked pretty well last year. Now the approvals are another matter, but that's a separate topic that I get into. Tamara, you know, definitely stay involved. Like we'll all, maybe let's talk more next week. We can all sort of, you know, I think you're a great voice to sort of remind people on this stuff. And I don't know if we need a committee just because it's also, it's a month away. We only have a month on this. So, but I think it's been informative, helpful, and we'll talk more next Monday about it. And I sent out an email. I'll re-forward the email. I sent an email a couple weeks ago about the process, and it included resume information. And anyone who's listening, anyone in council members, feel free to hit me up. You can hit up Tamara offline as well for just questions about the process.
So I just have a question.
Go for it.
So the same way I reached out to all the principals in regards to the school safety officers, can one of us do that as well and ask them their wants for the school?
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's what the liaisons should do.
Yeah.
So an email went to all of them already from the CDC. And principals know, you know, most principals
Yeah, of course.
every time, this time of year. But then, in theory, the liaisons should, and we'll track on our sheet. I've always done that in the past. We'll track the sheet and see where, make sure we have all the schools coming in, and I'll reach out to council members. It's a good chance for council members to get involved. honestly.
So, what's the last day that you think we should have all this information down?
By the morning of the meeting, January, was it 10th, Kevin? By the morning of the meeting. And what we really try to tell people is the Tuesday before the meeting, but you're always going to get last minute things coming in the morning of the meeting. Always without fail. But as long as we have it for the night, because the night of the meeting, January 10th, is when we vote to approve. And that's when we'll have everything ranked up, and we have to do that in a public process. That's the rule.
So when they fill out the information that they want the school to get, who gets that information? Would it be CEC 20's email? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys.
It's got to come to CEC 20, and it's got to come from the principal too. That's another thing we've had in the
Yeah,
past.
that's That's. the
Teachers,
issue.
teachers
They
can't
need to
submit.
Email us, because that was the
Right.
issue last year, why my liaison school couldn't get their last minute projects that they wanted to put on, because it was an email. And then some of the principals didn't know that, and I had to call them and try to make them do it the same night. But some of them weren't on the meeting, so then we should try to tell all of our principals to show up at the meeting, whether on Zoom.
And
hybrid.
that's a good idea too, because generally they do and they like to, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
absolutely.
One principal was able to get some of her projects that she didn't list it to be listed. Because she showed up and she was in the meeting.
Any other questions? SCA funding? Any other topics for the business meeting? Is there a motion to adjourn the business meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Business meeting is adjourned. Interpreters, you are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
And good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.